Well, it's time for us to check in with our Olympian of journalism, Mr. Dan Wooding. Yes, he has gold medals everywhere. Oh, no, excuse me, those are gold teeth. I'm sorry, I got those all mixed up. Hi, Dan.
How are you, my friend?
Doing fine. How you doing, brother?
Great. I think I might live.
Hey, listen, 27 years of the Southern California Harvest Crusades. That's really something, isn't it?
Yeah, they had it over the weekend at the Angel Stadium, you know, where the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Well, it's a bit confusing. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, I think, is the name. Greg Laurie has these crusades every year. They had this year about 105,000 people packed the stadium for what was called the 2016 SoCal Harvest, and a total of 11,699 people. That was more than 10,000 of those in attendance or via the internet broadcast, registered commitments of faith. But the highlight was the strangest thing I've ever seen during a campaign. I've worked with Billy Graham all over the world. I've never seen this happen. But Greg Laurie suddenly announced that he was going to interview Mel Gibson, you know, about the Passion of the Christ and his future plans. And so Mel Gibson came on with a big beard and looked very nervous. And then Greg Laurie challenged him to an arm wrestling match. He said he wanted to wrestle, there we go, he wanted to wrestle Braveheart. And they had this little competition, and eventually Greg Laurie gave up. He said, I can't win. And he basically handed it over to Mel and then continued to interview him. So whether you've ever seen arm wrestling in a big evangelistic crusade, I don't know, but I've never seen it. But anyway, a lot of people thought it was a huge laugh, and again, many people found the Lord.
Well, that is wonderful. Any indication what Mel Gibson's interview was like, where he may be these days?
Yes, he did. It was a very good one. If you go on to assistnews.net and you see my story, I've given you a link there, a YouTube link to the actual interview. But what he did was he said that he was discussing or he was looking at the possibility of a new film on the resurrection of Christ. And then he told the audience, I made the ultimate superhero film in the Passion of the Christ. Real superheroes don't wear spandex or have special 3D effects. They do something superhuman. And that's what Jesus did. So watch out for the possibility of a new film called The Resurrection. I don't know whether it will be in the Aramaic language like the other one, but certainly Greg Laurie, he seemed extremely nervous. I was quite surprised, but I know he's had quite a few ups and downs lately. So, you know, he didn't lose the arm wrestling, but it was really a tie.
Well, let me say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to assistnews.net, and Dan will let you subscribe to all of his emails absolutely free because you listen and watch the Dove, and you'll get anywhere from 6, 10, maybe 12 a day. Reports from all over the world about the persecuted church and other articles like this, and you maybe can click on the link there and see the interview with Greg Laurie and Mel Gibson. All right, let's go over to Pakistan. Asa, what's happening there? Is the appeal going to be heard?
Yes, this is an amazing lady. She's a mother of 5, and she has been sentenced to death by hanging by the Pakistani court. She's the most famous blasphemy law victim in Pakistan, and she's finally going to have her Supreme Court hearing of her appeal during the second week of October. Now, for people who don't know anything about this rather amazing lady, her nightmare began back in June of 2009. She was harvesting falsa berries with a group of mainly Muslim women farmhands in Punjab province, and they asked her to go at one point to fetch some water. So she went to a nearby well, and she found a little metal cup and she stopped to take a drink on the way back. And when she got back, she explained to the other women that she'd had a quick drink because it was very hot and she was very thirsty. Well, one of the women who had been involved in a feud with her, apparently about some property damage, told her it was forbidden for a Christian to drink water from the same utensil as a Muslim, and her and the other workers considered to be unclean. They started to beat her up. They took her home. To her home, they apparently gang raped her, or they had men gang rape her. They attacked the kids there, and she was eventually charged with blasphemy because she stood up for Jesus. She said, "I believe in my religion and in Jesus Christ who died on the cross for my sins. What did your prophet Muhammad ever do to save mankind?" And for uttering those words, she was sentenced to be hung. Well, there has been so much prayer and so many protests, Perry, that finally her appeal is going to be heard. The great concern is that if she is freed, that she could be killed as she leaves the court. And so there's a great worry that there won't be the proper protection. So it's an awful situation. And so we ask you to pray for this lady. Her name is Asia Bibi, and she comes from Pakistan.
All right. Again, this is just a sample of the many stories like this that you'll receive when you subscribe to assistnews.net. And I want to really encourage you that when you read some of these news reports coming in from around the world, it really puts life into perspective. You think we have it tough in America, you ought to see some people that are really suffering for their faith. So go to assistnews.net and subscribe, and Dan will send you that absolutely free. And when you're there, pray about supporting him. He does this entire work around the world by faith. So pray about supporting him. Thank you, brother. Good to see your smiling face and your golden teeth.
God bless you both. Bye-bye.
See you later. There he is, Dan Whitting in Southern Cal.